Yeah, now this one might be an actual test. Alright. 7,000 damage. Calm down, Kholek. Hey, welcome back, nerds, to SFO Grimhammer, where today we are trying out a fun little experiment with Kholek Suneater, Herald of the Tempest. Besides his father, Krakenrock the Black, he is the oldest, the biggest, and the meanest Dragon Ogre Shaggoth on the planet, and the only one actively despoiling the realms of men and elves. His daddy has narcolepsy and spends all his time counting sheep, so he doesn't really count. Now, as we take a look at Kholek's skill tree, you'll notice most of it has been put into maxing out his formidable melee capabilities, and he's now rocking over 3,000 weapon strength base after stealing the Sword of Khaine from Gilgalad. That will only get more and more ridiculous as the Widowmaker grows in power, from thirsting to dominating. I do not believe there is a harder hitting lord in either SFO or vanilla. Ignore the level 102, that's some kind of integer bug from leveling up. He's at his max level 40 with a normal amount of skill points for a level 40 lord, so this is absolutely something you can do yourselves. In terms of items and followers, I don't have anything spectacular yet. It's still relatively early in the campaign, so I've made do with what I have. Helm of Discord, Opal Amulet, and obviously the Sword of Khaine. I have regen from killing Isabella, and 85% combined ward save and physical resistance before active abilities, which is 5 off from the max. 40% missile resist, 40% magic resist. He's a very tanky boy. It's a bit of a shame because he has some amazing buffs for other Shaggoths and Dragon Ogres in general, but we're not using them in this video at all. We're focusing solely on Kholek and what he can do by himself as a living mountain and a terror of the mortal realms. Okay, so quick rest stop at that mysterious island. If you're wondering how I got to Ulthuan so quickly, you can actually start here in Lustria, in Araby, or in the normal star position north of the old world. I think we'll go battle because it's all about making Kholek as strong as possible. Magic resist, frenzy, already have frenzy, so fortunately not very useful there. But as you can see, crazy movement bonuses at the moment. If you take the Gift of Slaanesh and raise settlements in honor of the Dark Prince, you get absurd movement bonuses, which is why we were able to go from Sylvania to Ulthuan so quickly. I basically just raised a bunch of stuff and camped out Vlad until he summoned Isabella, killed her, got regen, then beat feet the hell on over here. Take a look at the army. It's a powerful one. In SFO, elites are on a different plane of existence entirely compared to vanilla, so even though it's not like a 4 army stack here, I'm not super worried, but we do have to pay attention to what these AP units are able to do because they hit pretty damn hard in Grimhammer. Probably the most defining characteristic of Kholek Suneater's lore was when he peered over the walls of Prague and then brought them down with a single slam of his massive Warhammer, Star Crusher. Here it is in all its glory, the Herald of the Tempest, bringing a rampage to the shores of Ulthuan. The glittering city of Lothern, probably about to fall to the literal hardest hitting lord in Warhammer 2, bar none. I don't think Emmerich or any other character could get up to what we're doing right now, and it's only going to get more and more impressive. Now, he is not the best one-man Doomstack in Mortal Empires, I don't think. There has to be some kind of caster, hybrid caster, that has more damage output overall with spells and the like, but with Storm Rage, with Herald of the Tempest, with the Sword of Khaine, with 3,200 weapon strength before any of my abilities are popped, he's got to be up there for sure. So let's see what we can do. They've got Soul Quench towers firing. This should be easy to dodge on the way in. I'm going to try to get them blobbed up around me as soon as I bust through, and I don't think I'll go for the gate. I think I'll go for the walls, because the wall breaker trait is a unique thing in SFO Grimhammer, and it just is kind of thematic, right? As I said at the beginning, when he went to Prague, he walked up to the walls, peered over them, said, "Kislev, your doom has come," and brought him down with one swing. I'm not going to be able to do that on Lothern. I think this will only do maybe 5 or 10% damage each time he swings. I don't think it matters how much weapon strength I have. Yeah. I think that's a set amount, 5%. That's kind of dumb, but not a big deal. We'll bust through right here, and the White Lions will say, no matter what comes through that wall, you will hold your ground. You are elves. of Lothern. And when they see Kholek through all that shattered masonry and dust, they're probably going to turn tail and run. I certainly would. Double fast forward that. We'll get through real quick and then see what we can do. Now, White Lions are a higher tier unit. I believe they're tier... Well, they're functionally a tier 4 unit. I don't know if they're from a tier 4 building in SFO, but they have armor sundering and much better stats. They are actual elites, as opposed to the base game where they're tier 3 and kind of... I wouldn't say they're chaff, but they kind of feel like it sometimes. Armor sundering might be a bit of an issue for Kholek. Lothern and Seaguard take the brunt. Oh my god. That is just cinematic as hell, dude. Straight out of Return of the King. But the defenders of Minas Tirith would have been in much worse shape if it was Kholek Suneater busting through. Alright. That looks like a juicy blob. Cast the Widowmaker on them, and maybe a Herald of the Tempest in the center. And the AI likes to dodge these, so we might not land as many shots as I'd like. You'll also notice that when I call that down, it's not one cast. It'll be 5 or 6 individual lightnings in a AoE. Random AoE. Bit of RNG with those casts, but that's doing a lot of damage. 30 seconds in and he's already up to 150 kills. So yeah, I'm curious what you guys think would be a stronger one-man Doomstack in SFO. I know that in vanilla, for example, a Ancient Tree Man, maybe, of the Lore of Life would be a huge problem for any enemy army trying to deal with him. We go after that Noble and try to one-shot him. That's where the majority of his damage output actually comes from, against single entities. The biggest problem with Kholek right now, with his 3,300, 3,600, whatever damage value, is that most of that is wasted because he only has a limited amount of splash attack. He can't hit infinite targets at once, so he overkills whatever models he hits. But, just like that, against single entities, that is where all of his damage can go into the target immediately with a single strike. Didn't one-shot that Noble. A little bit sad about that. I think we'll get to a point where that's possible. Can probably one-shot mages. But yeah, for the Sword Masters, for instance, he can only kill 6 or 7 at once. So he'll hit them and then overkill all those models. The rest of the damage will go to waste. Not true if he's fighting a dragon, a lord, a hero, that kind of thing. I want to push through to get a Lothern Seaguard. Shut down some of the range play, because you can see, even with the 85% ward save, which gets up past 90 when Opal Amulet is active, he's still taking some damage. But literally face tanking a high tier, high elf army on SFO Grimhammer, which is a different animal entirely. So already pretty damn impressive what he's doing. Yeah, I think Ancient Tree Man might be stronger. Dwellers Below being able to regrowth himself. Two-shot that Noble. Hell yeah. Let's go for the Mage. And actually alley-oop it. You can see that the Vortex kind of sucked the whole unit up into a little blob. Now the lightning comes down. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If you guys ever played NBA Street Volume 2 back in the day, that's a back to Papa right there. That's a bouncing off the backboard, alley-oop it to yourself. Oh my god, that hit on the Mage. Jesus Christ. Actually, the only reason I'm taking damage right now is because of the bolt throwers, which are very accurate and have super high AP. So the smartest thing is probably just to go back there and murder them. One thing I have been noticing in my sieges in this campaign so far is that the AI really doesn't know how to handle a single entity. Like, if you fight at the main gate, they'll fight. But if you push further into the city, most of the guys will stay at the walls. That might happen here. And I'm not sure if that's an SFO issue or a base game issue. It might be base game, because I don't typically do this one-man Doomstack kind of thing. But you'll notice here, as I move back into the capture point, some of these units are probably going to stay behind and not really pursue, which is weird, because if I'm capping that capture point, like, they should probably figure that out and say, oh no, we might lose. 400 kills. For some reason, he has a lot of issues killing artillery pieces. Probably because they have 6,000 health and they're really spread out, so the splash attack doesn't really matter. Deadly Onslaught does provide more splash attack radius. Splash attack power. But that doesn't really help against a bolt thrower crew that's as spread out as they are. So you can see just overkilling models right now. This is where he is not very impressive. 3,000 damage, but killed one model with that swing. What a freaking beast, dude. I think you guys get the point for this one. There's absolutely no way their army's going to be able to stop me, so I'm going to kill these Lothern Sea Guard, and then probably just fast forward it to the end of this battle. So let's do one more cast here. And then we'll move on to a juicier target, if that sounds good to you guys. Because there's absolutely no way the High Elves are going to kill Kholek here. Even if things got really bad, I could just run outside the city and regen. But I'm not even going to have to cheese it like that. They've lost all the units capable of killing me. I'd say 90% of the damage I've took so far is from the bolt throwers. God, he's fun to use. You literally just throw him into the middle of a meat grinder and everything dies. And you get a lot more of those fireworks displays than you would in the base game too. Styling on him. And oh yeah, give me the chimichanga shuffle, baby. All right, where do you guys want to go next? You're not gonna be able to answer it because it's a video, not a live stream. But I was thinking something like Skavenblight. So you can take something like that, and it'll only take maybe 4 or 5 turns to get there too, because of how much movement points we have. So let's go on a world tour with Kholek Suneater here, and take our next objective. Definitely need to work on his tankiness a little bit. His somewhat middling melee defense is a bit of an issue. We do have stand or die. That's the movement bonus I was talking about, by the way. 20% when you raise in favor of Slaanesh. That's huge. I mean, that's when you stack that up with all the other things, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, he took some damage there. See if we can iron out those kinks. Alright, I settled on Skavenblight. I think that'll be a fun showcase for what Kholek can do. I was expecting more stacks here, to be honest. I was kind of hoping to run into 3 or 4 to really test Kholek's capabilities, but the Skaven are unique in their ability to field armies, and their garrisons are extremely good, especially in SFO. The sword is now thriving, which means we have even more AP, and his weapon strength has risen. I will declare war on Claw, on Clan Scryer, and move on that ass. Now, if we take a look at what we're dealing with here, there are some Death Globes, Poison Globes. Those are definitely a counter to Kholek. There is a Hell Pit Abomination, which, in theory, should do well against the Herald of the Tempest, but he has 3,600 weapon strength, and that will probably make that HPA a very sad panda. Speaking of sad pandas, I think the majority of this garrison is in for a wild ride on this evening. They're like a dinghy in the ocean, and Kholek's a hurricane, and it's about to get ugly. Now, I think we can all agree that sieges need a serious rework, and we know that there is some kind of overhaul coming in Warhammer 3, but just in terms of visuals, man. Lothern looked gorgeous. This, in its own way, looks gorgeous too. Got some warp fire projectors up top or something. Firing doom rockets or warp flame, I'm not sure which one, maybe warp lightning. We're about to find out. I can't remember if this is a tier 4 or tier 5 settlement at the moment. Probably tier 5. But the balance bar doesn't like our chances. I think the balance bar lies. Yeah, shooting Doom Rockets. Not the Ikit Claw OP type, the... Frankly, I don't even think these are good versus single entities. Do Skaven have a Warp Lightning one? That would be really strong. That's something I'd be truly terrified of. Warp Lightning towers would be actually scary. The fire bonus restores projectiles, that would probably hurt. So I'm going to attack the side that doesn't have the poison globes or death globes up top. I think that's a pretty logical opening move here. Multiple menace belows coming up behind. So they might try to stop me from hitting the wall, and they will. Now imagine if the AI was smart here and then got their poison globes right above while he's off the wall and fired down. And that is magic damage, which would go through all the physical resist. So instead of 85% physical resistance, it would end up being more like 40 or 45 damage resist. There would be some missile resist thrown in there too, so maybe not. Oh. Oh. Actually, a little bit less damage than I was expecting there. To be honest, I don't know if Venrus fully rebalanced the Sword of Khaine and its abilities. I imagine he did. I do know that the Thriving Sword of Khaine here gives 600 AP, whereas in the base game I think it gives like 450. Yeah, it's 300, 450, and 600 in the base game, I think. In SFO, I think it's 300, 600, 900. I've not gotten to dominating with Kholek's Star Crusher Sword of Khaine yet. Lightning Cast could have been a little better. Like I said, AI dodges it pretty damn well. But yeah, there are two major weaknesses with my implementation of Kholek so far. The melee defense, a little bit low. I do have standard die, or stand your ground, whichever one it is. I think it's standard die. So I do have ways to buff it up, but I think it settles around 60 base, which isn't horrible, but it does mean he does get hit in melee fairly often, especially against the high tier stuff like Phoenix Guard, Storm Vermin, that kind of thing. And then the other issue is the overkill element, where he doesn't have enough splash attack power or width on his attacks to hit, say, 15 to kill 15 or 20 models a swing. He'll kill 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, not 20. Now, the interesting thing that would probably be worth testing is whether or not the Sword of Khaine is actually worth it in the long run. The answer is yes, it should be, because it gives ward save, unbreakable, it gives you the vortex, it gives you more utility and power in different elements, but Star Crusher, his normal weapon, his quest line, that looks so cool when that wall comes down, oh my god, and he just comes right through. Oh, it's so dope. Go for the Warlock Engineer. His questline item does give like 50% more splash power. So you combine that with Deadly Onslaught, and then you can really cleave through hordes of infantry, and in that way, it might be better than the Sword of Khaine, which would certainly be better against fighting single entities. Oh, I almost one-shot him. I was inches, slivers of HP from one-shotting the Plague Priest. And I didn't have Deadly Onslaught pop there. Yeah, he would have gotten one shot. Damn it. So, I mean, he's got plenty of wave clear. It's maybe not Dwellers Below spam or anything like that, but with his passive, the Storm Rage, with the active Herald of the Tempest, with the Sword of Khaine Vortex, infantry dies. Lots of things are dying right now. He has 600 kills, and we just got inside the walls. Going well. Helm of Discord's nice for this too. But the real test is against a single entity. That's where we can see the true damage output. So let's try this out. Yeah, now this one might be an actual test. Alright. 7,000 damage. Calm down, Kholek. You're out of control, buddy. That's disgusting. Some kind of double hit when you're combining it with the 150 charge bonus. Because he shouldn't even be dealing that much. Good night. What was that, 4 swings? Probably would have been 3 if there weren't a bunch of other infantry hanging around too. That's a helping abomination with 14,000 HP that died in 4 swings. Absolutely absurd. Now, we have to think about how to approach the rest of this, though, because I saw a lot of Eshin stuff. There are Eshin triads hanging around. The Globadiers are retreating to the safety of the capture point. And there are rat ogres and stuff back there who can kind of pin me in place. So maybe we'll think about attacking all that stuff while it's a little bit isolated, doesn't have all this infantry. But if anything might bring me down, this attack could be it, because there's a lot of stuff I gotta worry about. Good night, second Plague Priest. He was missing HP. I'm kind of surprised he didn't die. Alright, Plague Sensor Bearers. Definitely pop ward save, because now the Gutter Runners are dropping their ammo on me. Doom Rocket firing from the flank. And fully surrounded. Wait for that perfect moment, and then send a few of them to meet the Great Horned Rat in the afterlife. Come on now, get blobbed. That should do it. Now, all those mass changes from the base game have still carried over, so Kholek can't necessarily push through hordes of infantry as well as maybe he used to be able to. I've seen only a handful of Phoenix Guard. Those kind of units kind of stuff him up and prevent him from escaping. There, he seemed okay. Pushed through the Skaven, no problem. But the Rat Ogres weren't in the way either, and there's definitely no way he's pushing through them easy. So I need to make sure I don't get tied down here. Because with the globes firing in, and Rat Ogres with a full surround off, that could get ugly. Don't know if it's worth a cast. Smartest thing is probably just pull back out of this plaza. There's more here than I was expecting, for sure. I go deal with the infantry at the front of the gate. Yeah, let's re-engage once we're out of range of all those globes. Might as well pop everything for the Rat Ogres. They're probably the most dangerous unit left. Just in terms of their ability to tie me down. Did take some damage against the Storm Vermin for sure. But I'm also not playing this hyper efficiently either. I mean, if you really wanted to cheese this to the maximum, you do all kinds of cycle charging. You never stay in melee with the halberds. You basically just keep them moving at all times and use that 146 charge bonus. That'll make it take way longer than it should though. So I don't really see the point now. I'm going straight in, baby. Because I'm just not very worried about falling here. Like, yeah, I'm down to half HP, but that's after they've thrown the vast majority of what they have on offer, and now all their range stuff's tied down. There are a lot of halberds. There's still a lot of halberds left. Eshin Triad, Storm Vermin halberds. You can see that a lot of the stuff is still hanging out at the front gate. I don't know why that is. I don't know if the AI just isn't programmed to be able to deal with something this large. They're like, I don't want to get near you, or what the problem is on that front. But it's not something I've really noticed before in my regular sieges, and maybe it's just because I'm engaging everywhere and always killing everything at the walls before I push in anyway. But here, like, you run past the gate and it feels like almost half their army is hanging out at the front, nowhere near me, not even coming back to help out, which is just weird. I don't really get it. I don't think it's an SFO exclusive thing. Should we run? Flee? Get that splash attack power, clear this out quick. The rat ogres are still alive somehow. But that balance bar is ever so slowly creeping its way back. And one of these minutes here, we're gonna reach a tipping point where it just goes army losses. I think if I kill that warlord, rat ogres, and maybe like one more halberd unit, and the warlock engineer, all the heroes and lords, once they're dead, that'll be a huge swing on the balance of power. That might just kick army losses in immediately, because the game does know like how strong Kholek is. Like it can look at stats and say, Jesus, that's a scary boy, and it'll give you power on the balance bar accordingly. Clearly not enough considering how the balance bar started out, but how it still is. Blessed with Filth is not going to help you guys. I'm sorry. Stats are way too good. 186 leadership, which is irrelevant because he's unbreakable. Fast forward to kill those rat ogres. Let's kill that warlord. Gonna tiptoe past you boys. 1 second here. Death globes first, then straight for that warlord. Strike the head off the snake. Leadership will definitely be a huge problem for the Skaven as soon as their heroes are dead. Oh wow. Yeah, they had some Eshin boys bodyguarding their lord in the back. That's crafty. Get out of my way! Oh! Oh, that's not a warlord, it's a Grace here, okay. Oh, Long Johnson, dude. I mean, that's pretty much game, right? We'll do it to the warlock and then we'll probably call it. We need to land one more attack, come on. Finish him. No. Too much dancing around, not enough smacking. He's gone. Well, that was anticlimactic. Come on now. Yes. Yes. Yes, we did it. We finally did it. It took killing 8 characters so far since I got the Sword of Khaine to finally do it, but we one-shot a hero. Warlock Engineer died in 1 swing. You got double hit, but still counts. Gone in 1 swing, baby. 3,200 kills. 21,000 damage value. 315,000 damage. The Perfect Vigor banner has actually been super useful. We'll re-equip that in a second. But heroic victory, no losses, down to half HP. Killed off Skavenblight solo. And honestly, he could have handled another army or 2 easy, I think. Now, you'd have to maybe cheese it a little bit more, use that regen, run around a bit more, but I mean, that's a lot of halberds, Eshin triads, and stuff that's pretty dangerous to a lord of this caliber. And it did not matter. That's your boy Kholek in SFO Grimhammer. As you well know, SFO is about making it a little bit closer to lore. And it balances out the campaign in a lot of ways. But you can definitely get your lords insanely strong. The trade-off is that the elites also get stronger too. So, interesting, fun little experiment there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And let me know who you think the best one-man Doomstack in SFO Grimhammer could possibly be. See you next time.